Here we are. All right, so we are starting this flow class with work on our feet. And we're going to get into the balls in a minute. But first of all, I wanted you to be really just discussing that we have a heel bone. And the heel bone, we have two bones that come down. And the bigger bone, the tibia, connects and becomes this bulging inner part of the heel. And the fibula becomes the outer one. And then they connect into this bone. Now, this bone can be all over the place. It usually gets kind of stuck and jammed in one place. That's not so functional. The reason this is so important, and I want to really take advantage of our feet today, is because misusing the feet, and they usually just clumped up things because we have them in sneakers and in shoes, and we just kind of plod along with them. It throws forces and dysfunctional energetics through the knees and the hips. So this will give you power all the way up. So let's first just take our heel. You can grab the other and just move it and see if you can feel if it moves. It should have a lot of mobility. So I'm just going side to side right now. And now I'm pulling it back and forward. Now I'm trying to get a sense of this being locked. And then I'm pushing and pulling the heel back and forward. So, you know, people can say I have a tight Achilles. And it's kind of this whole joint connection. It's a very important connection. And then take your hand and literally push the heel down. So you're stretching a little bit, pressing downwards. And in a healthy foot, that heel hits and you stand with your weight in the middle. For me, for years, I was completely on the outside. So I just want you to be aware of that. And then I'm going to turn the camera down. Going to put your foot on the floor and just put your back of your heel down. So see if you can get a sense of what the center of the heel is. And then rock to the outside, right at the back. So you're pushing into the outside edge of the heel. And then push to the inside edge of the heel, just so you can start to be familiar with the sensation. Middle of the heel, outside of the heel, inside of the heel. One more time, center, outside of the heel, inside of the heel. Now, as you notice, I'm throwing my knee all over the place. So now we want to refine this. Center, stabilize your own knee, and ideally look at it, see if you can keep it forward, outside of the heel, without the knee moving, inside of the heel, center. One more time, outside, inside, center. Now you may or may not be able to do this, but just starting to put these forces in is great. Now, I want you to imagine rolling all the way around the heel. So I'm going to the front of the heel, the outside of the heel, the back of the heel, inside, down, outside, and back. And one more time, inside, down, outside, and back. And then start to go forward and back in the middle. Do you see how much movement that heel bone should have? And as you push forward and the heel goes back, it should allow all the bones of the foot to lengthen. We're going to get into that in a little bit, because usually people's feet are pulled up, they're clawed, they're all jammed up together. From here, let's do the same on the other side, just to stay current. So you grab your heel and pull it up and push it down, and up and down, and up and down, and up and down. And now circle it around. Just see if you can start to feel the loosening up of the bone, and then reverse your circles. And then start to stretch your heel down. So I'm really pushing down my Achilles into the bone, and I can feel how my bone is attached all crooked. Eventually, I want that line straight. This part in my foot is really pulled up and tight, so it's pulling my heel out of a straight line. So I know there's work to be done on the inside to eventually get that heel bone hitting, absorbing forces in a more straight way. Slide down, and one more time, slide down into that heel. Now, here we go. Back of the heel, outside of the heel, just to become familiar, inside of the heel. Center, I'm pushing a little bit into the back, outside, inside. This is my tight side for me, so it's harder for me to get there because it's all jammed up. Center, one more time, outside, inside, center. Now stabilize your knee, again, outside, inside, center, outside, inside, center. One more time, outside, inside, center. Now rolling around the whole ball. Adjust your foot if you need to. See if you can feel yourself rolling all the way through that bony part and reversing it. And then also notice how you can rock to the front and to the back. So you're pushing the bone, my bone's going backwards, my bone's coming forward. Lots of mobility in there. For many, many people, it's completely jammed up. There's like zero mobility. Everything's just pushed down into there. And the feet are stiff and tight and not giving them all the support that they need. Back and forth. Now from here, when we stand, I'd like you to lift the toes up for a minute. Feel the center of the foot and then put the toes down, and let's just stand up on our feet. And first of all, just shift your weight into the center of the heel backwards. So you want to feel this sense that you're taking your whole body weight and standing on the heels. So you're going down into the heels. Do you notice how the whole muscle structure of the body changes? Then shift forward again, and again, right back and on the heels. So you're going down into that very big bone that's supposed to ground you. Are you on the center of it? One more time, back and down. Now roll a little bit to the outside of the heel, back to the middle, into the outside of the heel, back to the middle. One more time, outside of the heel, back to the middle. So our physiology is designed to have a lot of stability to the outer foot. But what happens to most people is they collapse down and inwards, and the arches are doing very funny things. The arches can be pushed up, drop down, the wrong balance of positions in the body. So next part is from the outside of the heel, this line all the way up to the little toe and the second toe is supposed to be a very strong force to hold us. And most people are completely off of it. So what happens, this has a spongy padding area, as does the heel. But when the bones start to collapse, it gets pushed to the side. And for many people, as they get older, or the feet splay and the bones are collapsed down, and there can be all sorts of phenomena going on. So all of this can be pushed out. So we want to take all of this and pull it back in. So if you notice right now, let's have your foot up if you can. Pull that side down and under, and it may stretch out the outside of your foot. And again, pull that side down and under. And one more time, pull that side down and under, because the bone of the little toe and the second toe can be pushed out. The toes can be going all over the way, but they're designed to go straight. And we want to start encouraging this part of the foot to be straight and long and really powerful. In karate, this is one of the strongest positions they use to kick. So we don't think of that, but that's a very important part. So back to my feet. Sitting, I'd like you now to take the same thing. You lay the foot on the side, and I want you to imagine, here's my little toe, stretching. I'm pulling my heel away from the little toe on the outside of the foot, and I'm rolling all of that tissue under. And then I'm stretching my toes, so you want to stretch, and then see if you can keep pushing down and roll back. I don't care if the big toe touches or not. Do the best you can to get a strong straight line, and can you feel your little toe pressing down? If you can't, it's going to come. I promise you, at first you feel real nerdy and dysfunctional. It's like those little things over there, they're not doing it. You may have holes and spaces in here. Do the best you can to get it straight, and then roll and see if you can push your little toe to the outside of the heel down. One more time, out, and then little toe to the heel. Now stay there. I'm adjusting because what we're working to do is get this heel to the little toe starting to line up, and then the knee going straight forward. And notice that your pressure is still on the outside of the foot, of the heel. Now, can you move the center of the heel? It's a lot of detail, and it's going to take time to do it right. So just do your best. One more time, all the way out. Lengthen the toes away from the heel. Adjust. You can literally traction your bones of your foot to try and start to encourage them. Get that little toe and fourth toe down, and then line up outer heel to outer foot, and see if you can get a sense of pushing down with that foot. You can get all, and then move the heel to the center. So here's the outside, center, and the toes are down. And just for fun, push all 5 toes into the floor, and you'll note, and keep that outside line. Most important is outside line. It's going to start to build up the inner arch again, which we want. That's a real springboard for our body. Other side, actually starting up here, take that outside foot and pull it in. Remember, we're taking all of this tissue that may have gone to the side, and we want to pull it under. We're stretching the padding back so it's under the foot on the outside, and then we're lengthening from the heel to the little toe the best way you can. You can even grab your little toe and your heel and pull them apart a little bit. So we're starting to stretch this bony part. People can have all sorts of funny zigzags in there. So stretch and pull. Then get that outside foot into the floor. Really press it, and then see if you can extend the toes and roll flat down. Back again, or halfway down. I'm not interested in the inner foot at all. Feel the outside of the heel, outside the side of the foot, and then you roll and try to get the outside heel all the way to the little toe, pushing down. Active, it's strong muscle work. One more time, press. Heel is into this whole side of the foot. Lengthen the toes if you can. Press your little toe and your fourth toe, and then keep going. See if you can get all the rest of the toes down. So you're still on the outer heel, middle heel, outer heel, middle heel. Press down. This is very active work of the muscles. Outer heel, middle heel. One more time. Outer heel, middle heel. Good, good, good job. As best you can, the little toe to the heel makes a straight line. Let's see, I'm going to line myself up with the boards. It's going to feel like you're turned in and pigeon-toed at the beginning, because the foot has to reorganize. All 26 little bones have to go into a different place to get a really powerful foot. So ignore the look. You want that line. Now, let's get both feet. So I'm lining my feet up with the floorboards. I'm making sure the padding's underneath. I'm getting a sense of my heel, outer heel on both feet, all the way to my little toes, and stand up. And maybe your knees are going way in. Couldn't care less. And Really press the little toe down and shift your weight into the heels and see if you can stand up. You want to feel the foot really grounded, and just stand there for a minute and feel the sensation of maybe the whole outside of the leg starting to unwind. You want a real strong little toe pressing down. You can have the all 5 toes pressing down, but I'm interested in the little toe and the 4th toe. We want to start to, so push the little toe down, relax. Push the little toe down and outside foot, relax. Press, relax. Press, relax. One more time. Press, relax. Very, very good. Now we're going to, you want to stand in the same position. Bend the knees a bit. One heel is forward. My weight is on the back foot, but I'm going to hit the center of the heel, outside of the heel, and then roll through this right foot till the little toe and 4th toe reach. So you go forward and back again. Again, rolling through the foot, forward and back. And again, I'm also, if you notice, pushing my heel away from me to lengthen out that outside line of the foot into the little toe and back. One more time like this, pushing, lengthening the whole outside of the foot, little toe, 4th toe pushing in strongly. Another side, bend, get that heel in front of you, push the heel away from you and roll. So your focus is getting this outside of the foot lengthened, little toe and 4th toe press down and back, lengthen, press down and back, lengthen, press down and back. Now let's take our little balls. And I want you to put the balls, literally see if you can get it right at that crease where the heel ends and the rest of the foot starts. And you want to push into that area and literally imagine that you're spreading it a little bit. And my foot is on the side. I'm really focusing on getting that spread. And then I'm lengthening my toes, little toe towards the floor. If you roll just a little bit forward, you can feel the balls helping push the foot back. So let's have you just rock forward and back a few times, rolling through the middle, spreading the toes, pushing, and let's roll this ball down the side of the foot to really start to open up those bones because they can be very tight. Spread the toes forward so you're slightly on the side, because that the long bone that's connected with the little toe gets all over the place. Lengthen the toes, roll, and roll yourself back. Change sides. So we will start right in the crease. The first time you're in the crease between the heel and the outside of the foot, you're kind of a little bit on that funny side part to encourage the development, and just roll the toes, little toe down. And then as you lift the toes, roll back and see if you can iron out that side of the foot a bit. And you're on the side. You're not flat, you're on the side. Roll, little toe goes down. I'm pushing my heel away from me, lifting and rolling back. And again, sliding, extending the toes, and rolling back as much as you can, letting that heel joint start to really work. And again, rolling through and rolling back. Very, very good. So we've done a little bit of stimulation. I want you again to stand, look at your feet. Are they going straight forward? And get the toes down. I want you to feel that little toe. Press that little toe and 4th toe and the whole outside of the foot. First, you're on the outside, and then get yourself into the middle without losing the outer line of the foot. Out, and then ground into the middle of the heel. Out, then ground into the middle of the heel, but press your little toe down. Out, and ground into the little toe area. One more time. Out, and ground into the little toe. Very good. Bring the ball back. You can hold on to something if you want to. And now bring the center of this. So now we're in the center. It's kind of cradling the heel on either side. So you have, and just take a few times and see if you can stand into it. Watch this. This is what happens, at least in my case, I fall in a lot, and I want that outer side really active so my heel can eventually adjust a lot. But you want to sink into this and then roll a little bit back and a little bit forward. Now, if you let the foot just do whatever it wants, you'll see your pattern. But we want to develop this straight foot. So the balls are a wonderful way to start to really stimulate the foot. So you're going to go back and forward a few times. And if you can, push into that ball. It can be quite painful. You're doing reflexology on your whole body right now. Roll and back. And one more time, roll. All the way through, all the way through, all the way through, and back. As a concept, all the bones of the feet should be going long into the toes, but they can get jammed all over. Like what's a bunion? It's pushing the toe into a different direction. This can in time unravel all of that, but it does take work. If you can see, I have two toes going. There is a nerve development in there that I intend to break up and have straight toes one day. So here you are. Watch that you're not too rolled in, more centralized, and then roll back and make sure the outer line is working, and roll back, roll. It's actually pretty good because the valley between the two balls can help you really press into that outer line. When you come forward, you can put pressure into the heel to move it back. Again, keep that outer line very active as you roll through. Roll back, press the heel away from you, roll, and roll back, stretching the toes out. One more time, roll through. And roll back. And again, stand on both feet. Get the feet going straight forward. Lean back into your heels and just for a minute, lift the toes. And can you lift the whole foot a little bit? Lift, lift, lift. Now, as you go down, outer foot, little toe. Can you get the fourth toe, the third toe, the second toe? I'm not good at this, the big toe. So your toes should be able to work through. Really push the toes down into the floor, but keep the pressure in the outer foot so you're not collapsing. You're very lifted. Now, can you lift your big toe, your second toe, your third toe, keep the little toe pushing down, the fourth toe, the fifth toe, and rock back a little bit. One more time. From the outer heel, you roll through the full outside of the foot, little toe goes down, fourth toe goes down, third toe goes down, second toe goes down. Even if it doesn't in your imagination, it's happening. Big toe down, feel all 5 toes on the floor, and then roll through the toes again and rock back. Now, press the toes down. Your weight is into the heels. I'm going to adjust the camera a bit because from here you are, you're standing, your feet are forward, your foot is very active. Outer side is working and your toes are pressed in. Can you lean back without lifting your toes? And forward. So we're focusing in the outer arch right now. Outer part of the foot is grounded back and forward. Notice how much the foot works to grip the floor. Keep all 5 toes down if you can. And forward. One more time like this. Back and forward. Now shift your weight to the middle heel, but keep the outer arch working. And same thing, center of the foot now. You're going forward into the middle toes and straight back. Keep the toes down though. Keep the foot grounded. Forward and back. Forward and back. One more time like this. Forward and back. Now this is the hardest part. Can you get your weight onto the inner heel without collapsing down? So I'm still holding my little toe down, but I've shifted to get as much weight as I'm able to. So now the weight is going towards the big toe, but I'm not dropping the arch. So even if you can't do it, this is starting to make your toes work again, because the toes usually are like, they died at age 5 when we put little children in shoes and we stopped using them. They're very, very important for all the muscles going up, for our balance, for our function, for our speed, and our lightness on our feet. They're very important for walking. And back. Just stand for a minute, ground again into your heels so you get used to the feeling of being on the heels with the toes down. See how much lift you can get in your body. Most people don't stand with their weight grounded here. They stand way forward so the foot doesn't work the same way. Now, coming back to a sitting position to begin with. All 5 toes down, knees going straight forward, and the toes really extended. Active that little toe down. And can you lift your heels up, keeping the toes pressed down and the knees straight, and then lower the heel back. Lift up again, so you'll start to feel the ball of the foot and down. One more time like this, lifting up, pressing all 5 toes down and back. Now, move the heels, adjust yourself so you're more kind of in this position if you can. Check that your knees are straight, your heels are straight back, and the toes are long. Again, the outer foot is working. Can you now come, and the first thing I'd like you to do is press into the outer foot. So little toe. Now, it's easy just to do this, but I want you to activate the toes. Can you make the little toe and the 4th toe really press? And then go through the outline of the foot and down. And again, roll out. So how far out you take your heels is not as important as that you're making the little toe and 4th toe really work. And down. As you do this, if you can take it to the next level, you see the heels, I'm lined up. Actually, it's really nice because you can see my floorboards. As I go up, try not to overdo it now, but keep the heel area tracking with the little toe. So I actually have to push in, but keep that little toe working. So most priority number 1 is little toe is pushing in. And if you have to go out to do that, do it, because and then if you can press your little toe and even the 4th toe and bring the heel in on top of it and keep your knees in, power to you. And down. Now from here, we're going up, little toe and 4th toe, and then can you move forward and feel the other toes pressing down, the middle toe, the 2nd toe, and maybe the big toe. Really press down, push, 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 and then roll down through the outer heel, middle heel. Outer heel, spread the toes and up you come. Push into the center of the foot. Push, 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 and down. One more time. Roll up, lengthen those toes. We're encouraging the whole line of the foot to be long, but active, not passive. We need you really to push the toes down because they're part of the mechanism for walking when you really work well. Very good. Just shake your feet out if they felt really, really tight. A lot of us, the metatarsals, we have knuckles in our feet, just like we have knuckles. If you can see the knuckles on my hands, our feet are supposed to have the same pattern. But for a lot of us, all these bones have become so dropped down that if you tell a person to extend the toes, you don't even see those bones. So some people, you can see them nicely. So what we're going to do is push those bones back. If you take your thumb on, if you find your little toe, and first of all, just pull it out a few times. And right in the area of the pad, if you feel around, you can feel where the knuckle should be. I'm hoping you can feel that. And if you push the knuckle up and pull the toe down, there's your bony structure. So I hope each of you is finding that first knuckle, and just push it in there and stretch the toe over, because this bone runs up and there's tendons and they get really, really tight. Really pull the toe over, and then we'll do the same with the second one, the fourth toe. So you reach into the pad, see if you can feel around to find where the knuckle of your foot is. Before we do that, stretch the fourth toe out. Really pull on it, because again, there's like two or three little bones here, 3 on the little ones, and then there's a long bone, and that's got I can't remember, 1 or 2 parts, but those bones can start to get jammed and twisted. So the more we can lengthen them, then there's room. Then you get that back to the knuckle and push the knuckle. I hope you can see. Let me turn my camera up. Pushing the knuckle out to expose it as best you can. And it's mostly the thumb in the back that's doing it. And you want to think that you're stretching the foot over that joint to make it happen. Yes, I think you can see there. I'm pushing my fourth toe knuckle out. Third toe. Third toe is the most jammed up. For most people, it's the hardest knuckle to find. So first of all, stretch it out. It's kind of collapsed down in the middle and often hidden between the second and the fourth toe. So stretch it out. Get those bones as long as you can. I'm literally pulling on it. And I've got a little bit of beginning hammer toe. So I don't want that to go anywhere. And then you take the thumb find the knuckle inside. They do exist. I've had people say, I don't have those knuckles, and I kind of show them where they were and push. So I hope you can see in my foot, but you want to get those knuckles showing. And right now our focus is that third knuckle. Sometimes if you have to pull the second and the fourth toe away to make space for that knuckle to start to have a life, it got overshadowed by the other two collapsing in on it. Now your second toe, lengthen it, pull it out, it's a little bit longer and easier, get it going. And then push into the knuckle of that bone and push it through. There's my knuckle. Stretch it out, push and stretch over, getting that traction. And then the big toe, if you have a bunion, see if you can get a sense of pulling it out and tractioning it straight. You can actually really release a lot of problems with the bunion problems. They're just deformations of all those bones collapsing in on themselves. And then same thing, this is usually an easy one for people to find and to stretch. So also look at the pattern, because a lot of times this can get twisted downwards and rotating. So you want to stretch everything as much as possible in a straight line. Let's do the other foot. Same thing. So you grab the little toe and stretch it out first. Ooh, sometimes there's nice cracks that kick in. Take the finger into the knuckle, feel around, find it, and push it up and stretch the little toe down. So we're looking to open up the top of the foot, an area that gets very, very pulled up. Now let's go for the fourth toe. Stretch it out, pull on it, traction it. Imagine your whole foot, all the way from the heel, you're starting to create length and space. We want all these bones able to move. Find your own knuckle, feel around in there, and stretch the toe down and push the knuckle up. I'm hoping we can see. Most important is your knuckle, not my knuckle. And even if you're not fully successful today, do it anyway. It will start the journey of those knuckles turning up again. Stretch your third toe. This is the one that's usually most problematic, I would say. And then find your own knuckle, feel through, and stretch. This one I have to really work at, so I'm separating my second and fourth toe, and then I push the knuckle up, and that usually gets it. This one is really sunk in there, so I have to work at it to get it to turn up. And then get the second toe, drag it out, stretch it out, pull on it, and push the knuckle up, and push the back of the foot in, and then your big toe. Really pull on it, stretch it, traction it, have a look to see if it's going in funny directions, get it as straight as you can, and push and bend that knuckle over. So we're just loosening up. So all of the top of the foot, we have muscles that run all the way up to the shin, through the shins into the top of the foot, and they have to do with pulling this way. And some of them go under the foot and pull that way, and the same in the back. In the calf, there's muscles that go through. They usually go through either to the all four toes or big toes. So we're not getting into specifics, but we want all of them working again and giving us much more potential. So now, after we've stretched the knuckles, take your feet and imagine them going straight back. And see if you can stretch out the top of the foot as best you can going into the toes. If it's possible, you will get a stretch all the way down the shin. If you're really tight, you may only get it in the toes. I mean, some people start and they can barely get their toes to do this. It's so extreme, but you do what you can. Now, roll, I'm moving into the little toe and fourth toe line. So outside of the foot, stretching that. And then big toe and second toe. Actually, it would be like this. So I'm getting the inside top of the foot. Back to the middle, stretching that whole line out as best you can. You may find that you're opening a little bit more. Outside of the foot. And inside of the foot. And one more time, middle of the foot. Outside of the foot. Inside of the foot. That's my tight ones, I forget. Back to this position. So now when we stand, and now I'll be moving into our flow in a minute, but I want to really get the foot waking up. So lift the heel, the toes, roll through. So you push the heel backwards. I'm pressing my heel back, and then outside of the foot, little toe to straight. And then I'm coming into the center of the heel. Very important, that slight rolling through the foot is part of the mechanism that should happen when we walk. So standing up, a little walking before we get into flowing. So stand, I'll do it this way. Stand in this position with your feet hip width apart. Get, first of all, the center of the heel down, but from the outside of the heel to the little toe, ground strongly. Now, shift into one foot, feel that whole outside of the foot very active, and press the heel down and roll. I'm going to do this way. You're going to roll through the outside of the foot, so my little toe hits first. Then I'm pushing through the back foot to get it all the way through. Now I'm on my center of my foot, and I shift weight. Center of the heel, outside of the heel, rolling through the foot on a straight line. So little toe, fourth toe, third toe, second toe, big toe, and then the back foot pushes through. And again, so I want you to take a few walks like this, really trying to feel the power of the foot as best you can, being very active and very conscious. There's a lot of work going on, and it's going to change your momentum. So just keep walking back and forth on your yoga mat, and you'll start to feel like an animal, like the foot is so wide awake and giving so much feedback and intelligence into the legs. And notice that as you push forward, you roll through the arch. So just a few more steps. I'm doing this with my hands. I'm working my feet so hard. This is part of what you should be doing when you walk. The foot should spread and feel the whole floor and activate. Sadly, most of us don't. They just kind of clump and they flop like kind of, I don't know, dead fish or something. I look at people running and the spring that could be available if they actually use the lower leg is not being utilized at all. So they get very heavy on the thigh, and sometimes the knees basically break down. Anyhow, we're now doing the flow part of our class with wide awake feet. So see if you can get your toes under and just come into a curl, into a four-legged position. And then extend the toes, put them down, lift, flex, toes under, lift, stretch, down, lift, stretch, under. One more time, lift, and down, and lift, and under. Put your feet down, and we'll do a few cat-cows to bring this energy up into the spine and warm it up. So lift and arch. Just pause here for a minute and see how much you can open the chest. Spread the pubic bone away from the sternum and push away from the floor with the hand. And then curl in the opposite direction. Push away from the floor, drop your head, and open up your back body. Lift up and open. And back and down. And one more time, lift up and arch. And curl and down. Now, all 5 toes under. So here we go. I really would like you to see, can you feel your little toe? Even if it's not touching the floor right now, actually, let's adjust. If you need to turn your feet in so the little toe is active, can you make it work? Little toe to outer heel. Activate that part. And then go back and press the outer line of the foot towards the floor. So it probably is a different sort of a stretch, but make that arch work and lengthen out. Hold the position and lengthen through the legs. Keep that long outer foot and bend your knees down. And arch. And again, press and lengthen the foot. You want to really get little toe, fourth toe, outer heel, lengthening out on the floor, but also active. It's not just a stretch. It's a suction cup. Lengthen the legs and bend the knees and down. And look up. And one more time, press. Get those heels down. And lengthen. And stretch. All the way away. And then down. From here, nice long body. Take one foot back. My foot is flexed. I'm going to turn this chair away. So get a sense of that little toe pushing into, even if you need to do that. Today, that's our focus. If you can get the foot, the knee going straight down and that position, Great, and then lift the leg up, but get the foot active. See how far you can lift the leg. Bend it back, bring it in. Take the other leg straight back. Adjust till you get that little toe into the floor. Get it, if you need to push back, do so, but get the little toe pushing in and awareness to the outside of the foot. It should go all the way from the hip, and then lift your leg and bring it back. One more time, first leg. Lengthen that outside of the foot. Lift the leg, maybe it goes higher, whatever height you have. And down, and other side. Lengthen little toe outside of the foot working, lifting, and down. Now, we're going to go out, outside of, now can you extend the toes? Lift, and down. Again, out, little toe going down. Now extend the foot. Can you feel the little toe reaching? Lift, and down. One more set. Out, little toe reaching, lift, and down, and other side. Little toe lifts, and down. Just for a minute, toes and heels and knees together. Big toes touching. Sit back into your heels. Come into a child's pose for a minute just to stretch your back out. Lengthen your arms out. Take a breath in. Stretch your arms, but keep your hips heavy. And down. Can you feel the little toes lengthening into the floor? One more time. Lengthen out. And then come back. Open your knees again. And go back into your down dog. Extend the legs out. Extend little toe to heel out. Nice and long. And then walk your hands to your feet. But keep the feet. Have a look at your feet. You want them hip width apart. Build. If your toes are doing funny things, take a moment to fix them as best you can. Keep that outer line of the foot pressing into the floor and bend the knees for a minute. And feel the outer heel, and now get your central heel working. And keep the knees going straight if you can. Your top priority is the feet. And then lengthen and drop down as low as you're able to do with that pressure of the outer foot going down and then lifting through the side body up and over. You keep the weight into the heels. Don't go forward. Now, bend the knees. Make sure your knees are going forward and make sure the little toe side is grounding and come up to awkward chair pose. So the feet are working very hard. Hold that position. Can you bend more without losing the shape of the feet? And then lift as much as you can. So the thighs now start to work a lot and the calves a lot. And then come up. Very good. We're actually going to hold this position today instead of the feet together so you can really practice. And we're going to start just with our normal upper body. So the feet are hip width apart. Get those little toes and outer foot down. Bring the hands to prayer pose. Palms of the hands strongly together. Press them down. Use them to traction your chest upwards. Start to feel the length in the outside from the hip all the way down. A lot of women have this shape of the legs because the bones are zigzaggy. So as you push into the little toe, in time, you'll be able to start to open up the fibers there. The hands push in and you lift your upper back up. From here, open the hands out, stretch the elbows and open the chest. And just feel that anchoring down and opening out, back to center. Again, open out, really lock the elbows if you can and rotate as far back from the shoulders as you possibly can while grounding the legs. Are you still on your heels or have you shifted forward? Stay on the heel and lift the spine. Back. Again, opening out, Stay on the heels, outer body actively grounding to push you up even more and down and centered. Now, continuing on, extend out, head back, palms together. Lift up as much as you can. Bring the hands to prayer. Are you on your heels? I'm telling you, because I keep wanting to rock forward, stretch out. Stay on the heels and hands together and back. One more time, open out. Head back, stretch, and back together. Going into our swan dive, take your hands out, arms up, and now hinge. Hinge those hips back, but keep the little toe and outer side of the leg working. All the way out, all the way down towards the floor. Lift your head and chest and look out. Get your upper body to work if you can. Come back down. Roll yourselves back up. Rotate. Hands out and up. Bring the hands to prayer. Again, open the hands out. Lift up, stay on the heels and the outer foot, little toe pressing down, swan dive. Little toe has to press down. You have to ground into the outer heel. You have to widen into the outside of the leg as you come down. Lift your head and chest. Come back down. Roll yourselves up. Sweep the hands out and lift up and back to prayer. So now we'll move into normal flow, but as much as you can, you keep the legs active. Just change your camera angle. So come to the front of your mats. And now the feet are together. So just for a minute, lift the toes and make sure the outer foot is grounded. Little toe, fourth toe, second toe, first toe. So outer heel is pressing down. Now come to the center of the foot. I like to keep my heels slightly apart so I can get all of this dynamic. Feel how much lift there is. I'm hoping you can feel the toes, all 5 toes pushing into the ground. So the feet are very active. Sweep the hands up and lift them up. And swan dive from here. Keep the foot very active as you go down. Lift your head and chest and come back down. Now, keep these feet very active and take your right leg back. So here we go. Feel the little toe to the heel. Is that leg really active for you? And lengthen the leg out. Keep the foot active. Keep both feet very active. Now bend the knee down. Bring yourself up and just, can you feel the feet? Can you feel your little toes supporting you? And it will do something to send energy into your upper thighs. Lift the arms up. And if you want to lunge a little bit further forward, but not with, if you lose your feet, I really want you. So let's go forward a little bit, back a little bit, forward a little bit, back a little bit, forward a bit, back a bit. Keep your attention on your little toes and push yourself back to your down dog. Little toe to heel pressing into the mat. Lengthen out the outside of the legs and then build your down dog without losing your feet. They're more important than the rest of the pose today. Come to plank. Keep the back little toes working and lower yourself to the floor in whatever way works for you. Now stretch the toes out. From here, lift your head and chest and open your shoulders out. We're just going to progress through this once. Press your little toes into the floor. Lift up higher into your cobra and then come all the way up and straighten the legs. Look up and lower back down. Curl the toes. Little toes are active and push back into your down dog in whatever way works for you. Get the little toe to heel. Look at your feet. Line up the little toe to the heel straight back. You probably will be pigeon-toed. That's fine. Hold this position. Work deeper into whatever places you can find that are ready to open. And then lift your head, look at your hands and bring the right foot forward. Line your little toe with your heel up and the knee going straight forward. Lengthen out so you feel the back leg. Bend the knee down just for a minute. Let that hip flexor open for you. Keep the little toe active. And step forward. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Roll yourselves up. Sweep your hands up and over your head. And bring your hands back to prayer. Check the feet. Keep that sense of the outer foot active. Open your arms out and lift way up above your head. Swan dive all the way down. Notice that the hips probably feel different from this foot alignment. Lift your head and chest. Lower back down and take your left leg back. Make sure the foot is lined up with your hip, not the other foot. So a little bit wider so you can get the little toes pressing in and lengthen the back leg as much as you can. Keep this foot active. So let's rock forward a little bit and back a little bit to just wake up the intelligence in the foot. Make sure the toes are pushing into the floor and they're making part of this work happen. Bend the knee down. Lift yourself up, nice and square. Keep the feet working. They can get very lazy. You want attention into the feet. Lunging forward a bit. Coming back. The toes are working. And back. Boy, it's hard for me to get that back little toe to be active in this position. And back. And hands down, down dog. Feet are hip width apart. Little toe to heel lined up. You can glance and make sure it's working that way. Press your little toe into the floor. Stretch. Come forward to your plank. And lower to the floor. Extend the toes, but feel the little toe pressing in, even if you're pigeon-toed. Lift your head and chest so you're in serpent. The hands can come off. Press to your cobra, make a deeper bend. And then come up as high as you're ready to come and straighten the knees. Look up at the ceiling and lower back down. Push back into your down dog, lengthening out. And step forward with your left leg. Back knee is straight to begin with, so you check your feet, check that sense of the outside of the foot active. Bend the knee down for a minute to allow the hip flexor to open. Keep the feet active as you step forward. Lift your head and chest. Lower back down. Roll yourselves up. Stretch your arms up over your head. And bring the hands back to prayer. So one more set, right and left. More fluidic, just feel your body. Try to make every cell in your body feel. Open the arms out. Arms come up. Swan dive all the way to the mat. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Step back to your right leg, have it nice and long, and then bend the knee down to the mat. Lift your arms up and lunge. Bring the hands down. Step back into your down dog and take a few deep breaths here just to get centered and open up the sensations in your own body. Come forward to your plank. and lower to the mat. Lift up into your cobra. Now we're into cobra. And into up dog. Lower back down. Push back into your down dog. Step forward with your right leg. Bend the left knee down. Work on the lunge. Step forward with your left leg, lengthening down. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Roll yourselves up and sweep the arms up and over your head. And back to prayer. And left side, opening the arms out. Head up and back. Swan dive all the way down to the mat. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Left leg way back. Take a moment to stretch the leg out as much as you're ready to, and then bend the knee down. Lifting up, arms go up. Lunge forward as much as you're comfortable with. Come back down and step back into your down dog. A few deep breaths here. Come forward to your plank. Lower to the mat. Push into serpent, first of all. Higher into cobra. All the way up into up dog. And lengthen the legs. Come back down. Curl the toes under, push back into your down dog. Come forward with the left leg. Bend the knee down to open up the hip flexor a little bit more. Step forward with the right leg, lengthening down. Lift your head and chest and look out. Lower back down. Roll yourselves up. Sweep the arms up and over your head. And bring the hands back to prayer. Then opening up just a little bit more, seeing we did so much different types of opening. Standing with your feet. Let's have the feet hip width apart. So you ground your feet. Make sure the outer foot is pressing in. In fact, just for a minute, roll onto the outside of one foot. Get that padding under. So we're doing that and then rolling the foot back and doing that and rolling the foot back. So you're standing on both feet, but you pull the padding, the cushion that should be under the foot, back under. And now from here, I've got my index finger pointing up, stretch up. So allow the shoulders to come up, but the more important part is the rib cage, pressing up as much as possible. Can you stay on your heels? So tempting to press the hips forward. So let's stay on the heels, lifting up and then bending to one side. Keeping now, we can even push further into the outside of that foot. Keep the little toe pushing. You don't want a floppy, relaxed foot. You want a highly, aggressively active foot. So the little toe and the fourth toe are grounding, and the outside of the heel is grounding. So you're not letting yourself roll onto the side of the foot, but that underneath side of the foot is working, and then you're pressing. So you actually have a very powerful foundation there. Come back. And now little toe and fourth toe grounding, and other side. So you're pushing out, but you're not rolling into the side of the foot. You're keeping the underneath of the foot on the side, really working, and you're extending, opening up, expanding. Come back. Now lift up, and now let the hips come forward. So the hips come forward, you lift the ribs and just arc back a little bit to open up the whole front of the body. So as best you can, opening up, come back, bring the hands down, clasp the hands behind you, keep the outside of the heel, pressure into the outer foot, grounded, roll the shoulders back and lift the chest. And look up at the ceiling. So we're really expanding the rib cage as much as we can. Come back, roll the shoulders, and place the hands. So now it's like Ustrasana, which is camel pose. Get the feet nicely positioned into the outer foot. Lift the rib cage as much as you can, and now you're going to have your hands going down. So they're taking the top of the pelvis and we're arcing it downward, but more importantly than that, because it will want to shorten. So it will shorten a bit, but this is energetically helping it. See if you can go back and open the chest and roll the shoulders back, just to get a real nice stretch into this part of the body. Come back and come back down to the floor for one seated stretch, forward bend. So you want the legs long. And so this, let's have the feet apart first of all, and same thing that you did before. Get that outside line from your heel to your little toe activated. And then can you bring your legs together and keep that activity? Now, eventually, we want to have all of this intelligence and bring the big toes straight. That's a really good grounded foot. So let's do this a few times. Heel to little toe and then roll. So the big toe matches the little toe. And heel to little toe, very long. The most important thing here is a sense of lengthening those bones out. They've probably been crushed together. And then the best that you can straight. Number one is more important than number two, because we're all beginners with this. Now, let's move the heels a bit apart, because the moment the heels are apart, this line is good. And then lift our arms up and bend over and grab the foot. Now, you can just yank on the foot when it's a passive foot, but I want you to feel that energy going. And then wherever you can, if you can't get to the foot, you get to your shins and stretch down, allowing yourself to get as much stretch and length. This whole outside line should be being woken up right now and be asked to get longer. And just allow the back to open, the legs to lengthen. Take a breath in, breathing out, go a little lower. And one more time, breathing out and go a little lower. Bring yourselves back up, and although we didn't do our traditional yoga beginning, let's just end and honor our bodies and the practice and the wisdom and inspiration that the yogic traditions bring to us. So sitting as centered as you can in a position that's comfortable for you. Let's close our eyes for a minute and turn the palms of the hands up so you're in a receiving mode. Take a breath in, filling yourself up with new life, new possibility. Breathing out, let everything go. Again, breathing in more new, fresh, unknown opportunity. And as you breathe out, everything that's no longer needed, no longer necessary, on a momentary level and on a long-term level, let it go out. And last time, big cleansing breath. Breathing out, release. Just sit for a minute in the relaxation and the peace that happens when you let go. When you just stop. Allow the mind to become still. Allow that subtlety of consciousness to just be alert with no generation of energy. Just observe who you are right now at this moment. And to finish, let's bring our hands into prayer pose at the heart center and give thanks for the wisdom and teachings of yoga. Give thanks and honor our bodies that have this incredible opportunity to support our life and have limitless potential to unfold and expand our quality of life. And give thanks and honor the inner teacher inside of each of us that's always there for guidance and direction when we look inward and we listen to the truth in our own hearts. And let's ask to stay open, to stay grounded, to stay happy with our own unique journey, and to enjoy both the shadow and the light. And from that place, we'll see we're truly living in grace. Take a deep breath in. Bring your hands up to your forehead or third eye. Down to your lips for a kiss. Bring your hands back down to your heart and bow your head to your heart. May the mind always be the servant of the heart. And then lift your head and open your eyes. And namaste, everybody. Have a wonderful day. May you be grounded, stable, and strong from the earth upwards.